This is The Itch. Hosted by award-winning golf broadcaster Scott Walker. With Andy Walker, a four-time national champion and the head golf coach at Eastern Michigan. And now, Scott Walker.
So ordinarily, I would kind of BS around while I'm introducing my brother from another, but I ain't got that kind of time because we got a guest right here, right now. This is Michael Collins. You know him from ESPN, from Sirius XM Radio, from the Joe the Policeman episode of the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama.
You know,
that is Michael Collins.
he parking cars on Tuesdays. I do everything, whatever it takes, bro. I'll be in the mail room sending mail out. I don't care what I gotta do.
So I've been waiting to have Michael on for a minute, and I want to get started with a couple of things, and it is really about background because honestly, we're taping this the day before they're going to play the men's Olympic golf competition.
Right.
I don't really much care about that. I kind of think
60
the golf
dudes with only like 26 people with a chance to win.
Right. I mean, you can't say this because you're on PGA Tour radio, but I kind of think the golf season is over now. But you can't say that, so don't say it.
I said it already. I've said it. You know what I mean? You already know how I am. I'm the guy who says the truth, and then I'll deal with the trouble after the fact. It's like,
fair.
We'd appreciate it if you wouldn't say things like that. Oh, you mean the truth? I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Like, what do you want me to do? You want me to blow sunshine and rainbows up people's behind? Like, that's not how I got to where I got to. It's by telling the truth. That's the thing, and not sugarcoating it. So
okay, well, so how did you get to where you are right now? Because honestly, like every time I hear about that story, every time I think about it, it's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
It's not real.
Happen?
It's not real. Like, it's funny. Scott Van Pelt and I talked about this because his journey is kind of similar in the fact that, like, we shouldn't be where we are. There's no reason, and I got to give a lot of credit to Ricky Fowler's agent, Sam McNaughton, because he runs around and he started yelling across the fairway, yo, dream. And I went, like, and he's looking at me. I'm like, why are you doing it? And I go, hey, man, why you call me Dream? And he was like, because you're the epitome of the American dream. You created a niche in a sport that didn't want you. Nobody looked or sounded like you when you started. And no one was asking for somebody like you. And yet you've created a spot for yourself and done something that no one else has done. And now other people are trying to follow. That's the American dream. I'm like, I never really thought it like that. And for me, it all started, I was doing stand-up comedy full time. And ended up booking a comedy gig the week in Hilton Head, South Carolina, the week that the PGA Tour was there. And a kiddo I going to high school with was like, hey, man, I got tickets. We're going to go on Tuesday. And I was like, I don't think they play till Saturday. And he just laughed, and he was like, we're going to go watch practice. And I wasn't even playing golf really seriously at the time. And I was like, we're going to watch golf practice? Come on, bro. That's the stupidest stuff I ever heard, bro. And we end up going. I meet a golfer and a caddy, Omar Uresti and his brother Hoss, Rusty. They came to the show Tuesday night. It was a great show. They ended up hooking me up with, like, clubhouse badges and gave me the whole 9 yards. And so I go to the tournament every day. I'm hanging out there. And by the end of the week, 50 golfers and 100 caddies have been to the show. So I start booking comedy wherever the tour is going to be. And, like, in the daytime, I would go hang out on the golf course with all my new golf friends. And at night, they would come to the show. Whatever we talked about on the course that day, I would take it to stage. And then doing that, caddies on Tuesdays and Wednesdays were like, hey, man, you want to carry the bag? And I'll be like, yeah. Like, he'd be inside the ropes with y'all and stuff. Not thinking that stupid bag weighs 35 pounds and we're about to walk 6 miles. And through doing that, then Robert Gomez called me and was like, hey, man, what are you doing next week? Can you cancel what you got? And I was like, yeah, it's just a Friday, Saturday, one-nighter. Like, oh, I can cancel. What's going on? And he was like, I'm playing like crap, and I'm not having fun on the course. Come caddy for me for the week. I got to do this Nike Tour rehab start. I'm like, what? All right, why not? And caddy for him for the week. And then other dudes that week were like, yo, call me when you got a week off from comedy. Because if I'm playing bad, I need you to come make me laugh. So then I started asking caddies. I was like, yo, like, I'm I don't take this as a joke because I love the game so much. Like, I have a passion for this sport. And, like, I don't want to be disrespectful ever because I love the game so much. So, like, teach me how to caddy for real. And by the next year, Chris Couch was like, yo, you're from now on, whenever you're not doing stand-up comedy, you caddy for me, and that's it. And we ended up we finished fourth in the Miami tournament and then won the tour championship on what is now the Korn Ferry Tour. At the time, it was the Nationwide Tour. And so now I'm caddying on the PGA Tour. Like, I quit all my comedy gigs and stuff. I'm like, this is it. And then Couchy fires me like 2 weeks in. And so now I realize, oh, hold up. This is not like all sunshine and rainbows like I thought it was going to be. But I kept getting caddy jobs and stuff. And then at one point, this guy came up to me on the driving range. It was like, hey, man, I know you do stand-up comedy and I know you caddy and stuff, but, like, how would you feel on your off weeks maybe doing some play-by-play? And I was like, hell yeah, man, who you with? CBS, ABC, NBC, like Golf Channel, who you with? And he was like, nah, XM Radio. And I was like, okay, man, golf on the radio. It's hard enough to watch paint dry. You think people are going to listen to it on the radio? And he was like, well, that's why we think you'd be good. And I said, you know what? Why not? I'll try it. Yeah, why not? And so I did it, and it turns out both the head of Fox Sports at the time and the head of ESPN's digital at the time were closet golf fanatics. And they heard me on the radio and were like, yo, who's this dude who he talks to golfers the way no one talks to golfers the way this guy does. Like the one guy, his name was Rob King. He goes, I heard you during a rain delay in the locker room, and I couldn't turn the radio off just because you were speaking to these professional golfers in a way I'd never heard an announcer talk to them, and they were like laughing and talking back with you. Like, this is crazy. Now I got to find out who this dude is, and the next thing you know, I got reached out by ESPN, and I did a thing on Fox as well. And a funny thing is, it was on Twitter. And so this dude from ESPN reached out on Twitter, and I thought it was a joke. And yet here I am 15 years later, you know, after going up to the car wash and doing this crazy meeting up at ESPN. And then through doing that and still doing SiriusXM and whatnot and still caddying a little bit. And it's been a wild, ridiculous ride. Believe me, that's about the Cliff Notice version I could possibly give, because it would take hours to tell like all of the little crazy things that happen along the ride. Although I'm not writing a book until I decide I don't want no more friends in golf. That's the thing. Everyone, you should write a book. Why would I still got friends out there. I'm not going to do that.
Wait, so I'll explain the car wash in a second. But Andy, does that make sense? That's idea that if I'm playing terrible, I might as well have someone liven it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that's such a great thing. I know Chris really well, and you know, I was out there, I think, right before you started out there, and you know, there's some times where you're sitting there with your caddy, and that relationship, you know, it changes between players, right? Someone wants them to keep them loose. Some people want numbers. Some people don't want numbers. You know, some people want you to stay out of their way. Some people want you heavily involved and talk through everything. So, I mean, for someone to come up and realize that, you know, this just isn't fun, let's go have some fun, you don't hear that, right? That isn't something that people, you know, they're always trying to find the answer and more information from the caddy, or they're going to say this or that. Not they're going to tell me a joke, or they're going to tell me to shut the F up if I say something stupid out there, right? And that was the best. I don't know if you remember Lil Penny when he was out there. And so Lil Penny, he caddied for me when my first year on the Buy.com tour. And you could never get mad because he was going to make light of everything, and every number he gave you was going to be wrong, and everything he said, he never, you know, he never quite mastered the King's English. So the shit that came out of his mouth was hilarious, right? He mispronounced every word that he ever said. And so the whole time, I mean, we just laughed and had a good time out there, and it made it so much more enjoyable. And you get to realize that, you know what, at the end of the day, it's a game, right? You got to have fun out there playing. It's a game. And so, you know, to have you out there telling jokes and lightening up stuff is probably what more players need.
But it's funny, though, like if you ask guys like Omar Uresti or like Daniel Chopra or like if you even ask Couchy, you know, like, yo, it must have been laughs all day, every day while Caddy was on the bag, because that was my nickname. Well, at the time, it was Little Hootie. That was my first Caddy nickname, was Little Hootie. And so they would all say the same thing. They'd be like, nah, he's serious out there. And I was, because I loved and respected the game. I've always been really good at reading greens, but I've been good at reading people. So it's like, I don't need to be joking and like yucking it up all the time if that's not what the guy needs. And people would ask, you know, what makes a great caddy? And what makes a great caddy is knowing exactly what a player needs at that moment.
Right.
You know, I'll never forget, like you were talking about, like, when do you say the wildest shit to people? Is I was caddying for John Elliott, a.k.a. Jumbo. You remember Jumbo?
Yeah.
All right, so Couchy took a week off in Greenville. When we were there, we got there, and he was like, I'm tired, man. I don't want to play. I'm going to go home, so you can have the week off. And Jumbo's in the parking lot. So he's like, yo, Lil Hootie, come caddy for me. Come caddy. Because his dream was always to be a comedian. And so Jumbo's like, you caddying for me this week, man. I got you. I said, okay, cool. So now the first round, so we having a good time during practice rounds, laughing it up, talking comedy and stuff. And I'm, you know, we're doing my work and all that too. But now Thursday, like, he bogeys the 3 out of the first 4 holes with wedge in hand. Because you remember how long Jumbo was. That's why they called him Jumbo, because he had a big ass head and he could hit it forever.
Big head.
Yeah, they could have called him head and a half. This is what they could have
wow.
called him, because he was wearing like a size 9, and he was not doing any steroids. He just had a mega head, but he looked like Mr. Potato Head, like same thing, little legs and little arms, but just nothing but head. Anyway, he's now bitching and complaining. Like, we're walking down the 8th. I don't even know why I'm out here. I'm wasting my time. This is bull crap. I'm the worst wedge player in the world. And I'm like, bro, this is Thursday. What? This is supposed to be my week off. And we like, this dude's acting like this. So we get on number 9, a par 5, and hits drive in the right rough. And it's sitting up a little bit. So he tries to hit 3-wood, and he pops it up to 100 yards. So I'm like, oh, no. And then I'm the worst wedge player in the world, blah, blah, this and that. And I'm watching him. I was like, I had enough of this. So I slammed the bag down right next to the ball. Bam! Yeah, you suck. And he looked at me like I slapped him in the face. And I was like, yeah, you suck with the wedges, bro. But there's a bar like 2 miles down. Maybe you can go pro in darts. And he tried not to, because I was like, maybe you go pro in darts. And just gave him a smart-ass look. And he went, fuck you, man, and hit it to 2 inches.
I love it.
Par 4, number 10, hits driver 60 yards. I was like, what'd you hit driver for, dumbass? Now you got 60 yards. You know what club you got to hit, and you know you suck with it. And now he's trying not to laugh. Hits it to 2 feet. Birdie again. Get to number 11, par 3, 139 yards. I'm like, well, it's got wedge in the name, dummy. I don't know what you going to do. And now he's like trying to keep the smirk off his face. And as soon as he makes contact, I'm like, oh, don't go in. Don't go in the hole. Don't go in the hole. And it 2 hops, spins left, hole in 1. And he turns posing and he's looking at me. Now, the funny part was, it's back then, Nationwide Tour, there was like in Greenville on a Thursday, it's maybe 4 people that seen the thing. But it goes in the hole and he looks at me and I go like, I'm the worst one player in the world. I don't know why I'm weak. And now he laughs and it's like, fuck you. Throws the club in the air and I catch it. And we walk to the green. And at the end of that round, there were other dudes like, yo, when you got a week off from couch, you got to call me. So it's like in that moment, when I told him that he sucked and made a smart-ass comment to him, he went birdie, birdie, hole in 1. Now, there are other players that I could have never said something like that to, even in that moment. But knowing Jumbo and knowing like what he needed to get out of that funk in that moment, that was different. So it was pretty, and it was fun and cool and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, one of the things that I believe makes a good caddy, like if I would have been caddying for Omar, I could have never said that to him. In that moment. You know,
first of all, you can't get a
it.
word in because he does that big, long, deep breath before every shot. And you're like, like,
yeah,
dude.
and he got his hands out. He got his hands the whole way out here. He does like, you're like, are you a samurai or something? Like Mexican samurai? What you doing, bro?
Yeah,
and stuff. So yeah, it's all in the moment and the right thing to say at the right time. And sometimes the right thing is not to say anything at all. You know, sometimes it's like, let a guy be mad for a little bit and let him stew for a little bit. And the instinct is to jump in there and be like, no, man, it's going to be okay. And other times you need to look at a dude like, well, what are you going to do now? You know, you put yourself in this situation and you know it. So what are you going to do without saying a word? You know, and sometimes that's the kick in the ass that a golfer needs. And that's why I fell in love with caddying. It's because of the psychological part of it and the team aspect. You know, there's only two ways to get inside the ropes, and I ain't good enough to play. And never will be.
Well, Michael,
Well,
let
okay,
me know
so-
when you want to
yeah,
be
go
a
ahead.
college. You're a college coach.
He's a
Michael.
college coach.
You didn't know that, but you can add something else to the envelope sender, the dishwasher, the comedian, the caddy, the on-air personality. You can tell people you're a college coach.
I would love to. And I've talked to a lot of kids, like from the first tee and in high school programs, and been invited to come talk at a few colleges, to some teams and stuff like that. And I mean, I know the swing a little bit. I'm definitely not going to be a swing coach whatsoever, but I understand the mental aspect of the game. And to me, that's 90% of it when it comes down to it, you know?
Well, hey, Dub, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, right? About what is the best thing that comes out of this show. And a lot of times it is that mental aspect, the thought process. So, Michael, if you look at social media and you're going to hear all of these instructors, they're going to tell you angle this, they're going to tell you swing plane that, they're going to tell you launch angle this, all of this data stuff. So when did you
Which is
figure
awesome
out?
until you get on the golf course and under pressure.
So
And
how did you figure?
No one
how'd you
ever
figure out this
says,
is a people
on
game?
number 7, my swing
Right.
plane was perfect. I've never heard a golfer
Yeah.
say that, ever.
Yeah. So how did you figure out this is a people game? Like what was the moment where you said, "Oh, this is a people game"?
So that very first week
Yeah.
that I met Omar in Hilton Head, South Carolina. That Friday, he played early in the morning. So I get up after my show Thursday, go out to the course. I got khaki pants on and a golf polo and stuff. And I walk with him for 18 holes, and he finishes, and he's like, we're going up on the driving range. So I put a towel on my shoulder, and I just like look all angry. I'm trying to be the angry black guy. Because every time I do it, I just can walk right up on there. They don't say nothing because I look like I'm dressed like a caddy and I look mad.
Right.
And they would laugh and be like, I bet you he's getting up on the driving range again today. Now, it would never work today, but back then, this was 98. Back then, this was before 9/11, security was a little less strict.
Yeah.
Especially if you dressed and looked like a caddy. Anyway, I get up on the driving range with Omar, and his brother Rusty, who's caddying for him, is like, hey, his nickname's Hoss. And he's like, hey, Hoss, I'm going to go eat lunch. Take care of Omar. Just keep his clubs clean for him while he practices before he eats. I'm like, all right. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I got a towel. So I'm like, all right. So I was looking around. I see the other caddies. They got a towel on their shoulders. So they got the arms crossed. Oh, nice shot, man. It looks good. Yeah, it looks good. So he's got this ram bag. And like just a little bit away from him is another guy who's got this ram golf bag. And this dude was like, hey, kid, come here. I'm like, all right. I walk over there. Yeah. He goes, take a look at this. And the guy takes a 5-iron and he pulls it back. How's that look? So it looks good. And he takes it there and puts it at the top. Does that look square? I'm looking at the shape of the club head. And I'm like, it looks pretty square to me. Yeah, it looks all right. And then from that standstill, this dude 5-iron, whack, frozen rope. And I'm like, I told you. That looked perfect. I told you. And he goes, thanks, kid. Thanks. Yeah, that felt pretty good. So I walk back over to Omar. So Omar then hits a shot and walks over to the bag. Hey, come here. So I walk up. Yeah. He goes, what did Tom Watson want? And I go, he wanted me to look at his swing. And Omar goes, man, what's your handicap? I'm like, what's a handicap? He goes, what do you shoot? And I'm like, last week I broke 120. Like I shot 110. So like I'm good. I'm be all right. And now Omar can't breathe because he's laughing so hard that Tom Watson just asked this dumbass 120 shooter for swing advice at a PGA Tour event.
Right.
And after I told him it looked good, he was like, yeah, thanks. That's great. And at that moment, I was like, it's swing plane, this and that, it don't mean shit. It don't mean shit. Because I just gave Tom Watson swing advice and I got no clue what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You're like you're a bunch of other instructors on tour. I tell everyone, I can go pick somebody out of a Walmart right now, put them in some Oakleys and a Titleist hat, and a FootJoy shirt with some nice shoes and a belt and throw a badge on him, and he'll have one of the best players in the world asking them for advice in 5 minutes.
It is, it's like that commercial where they put people in really nice suits and then had them sit down and tell other people they were financial advisors. And people believed it. They believed it. Now, I will say this. Now, I will say that with a caveat, because there is one thing that I thought was bullcrap that's not, okay? And this is where real coaches do see and understand real things. And it's in this sense. So that first time I'm out there, before I start caddying, I was hearing caddies tell, oh, your hands got in front just a little bit. And I'm seeing these dudes swing, and I'm like, there is no way at 112 miles an hour you've seen where that dude's hands were. There is no way. But I'll tell you something. The longer I was out there, the longer I caddied, at one point it clicked. It's almost like I saw the women's softball do this one time, where they put little tiny numbers on the softball, and then the pitcher would throw them in, and the girl batting had to say what the number was that was on the ball. And when you watched it as somebody who don't play that sport, you'd be like, you ain't see that number, and yet that girl was calling the right number every single time. And like probably the third week that I was caddying, I started seeing stuff, and then I could hear things too. And so I used to close my eyes, and Omar would hit balls, and I would be like, that went left. That went right. That was a little high on the face. That was perfect. That was almost perfect. And he would be like, yep. And I was like, holy crap, it's real. And I would then see guys swing through, and I would be like, I can see where your hands were through that swing, and the reason that the toe was turning over. Or now I can see that your feet made a little bit of an adjustment, or your hips swayed just an inch the wrong, instead of turning, you swayed. And so that kind of stuff is real, and you can see it, but it takes a lot of time watching the best in the world to be able to pick up those subtle things because of how fast it moves. But after you do it for a bit, you're like, yeah, I can see it. Now, if you ask me to like do that softball trick, I would be like, nah, nope, I got no chance. But when it comes to golf now, I've been around it enough, you can kind of see guys' tendencies and whatnot.
All right, I'm gonna jump in. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna make Michael Collins the czar of golf. Everything that you want to change in golf, I'm sure Michael is going to have that idea before you did. We're gonna make him the boss. We're gonna come back in a second. This is The Edge.
Never miss a new podcast when they drop. Subscribe to The Edge on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, America's Caddy, this is your time. Golf is in your hands. I know that there's been a huge boom in recreational golf.
Yes.
Professional, right? A huge boom, right? Professional golf, we'll figure out men's professional golf.
Falling off a little bit. Let's be honest.
Okay. So, we talk
professional golf because of the split has made people so mad at a bunch of millionaires that they're like, I'm done watching y'all.
Right. All right. So we talk about golf holistically, not just about professional golf. So what do you love about golf? What are you going to change? Go.
I love how many people are playing the game of golf. I was up in Pennsylvania the weekend of the women's U.S. Open and went out to this $20 Muni golf course in the middle of Amish country with literally a windmill like on the golf course, but it was an Amish windmill, so it was like pumping water.
Yeah.
And like seeing dudes out there in shorts and no shirt. And it didn't matter how they were dressed, but there was two dudes out there just having a good old time and a whole bunch of other people walking around. And for me, when I hear, the game of golf, I'm not sure how healthy it is. When you go out to a bunch of Muni courses like that and it's packed with people, it tells you how healthy the game is. And that's the one blessing that COVID gave us, because golf was one of the only things you were allowed to go do. Because it's a singular sport when it comes down to it. Just you on You on the course and you against the course. And so that part, I'm not changing at all. I want to make it as affordable as possible because I believe that we are definitely still in a sport that says all the right things about diversity and inclusion, and yet doesn't always look that way. So you can say what you want to, but a lot of times you yank that curtain back and you're like, oh, you're just saying that to look good, and it's a great sound bite or clip real quick, but you ain't really doing nothing to help grow the game in a diverse way so that it looks more like the world, right? Not like what you think it would look like at a country club, and what most of the time it does look like at a lot of country clubs. Now, that being said, if I'm going to change something in the professional game, first we're going to start with some rules and stuff. Like, number one, divots are ground under repair in the fairway. Period. No ifs, no ands. No, I don't want to hear no, well, then it could get, what if there's some grass growing it? Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, what a divot, an old divot looks like, and when you're on one that's like, I probably shouldn't take relief from that, right? And if you know that, and we all know that, so let's not pretend like, oh, it just opens up Pandora. Shut up. It does not open Pandora's box. And that's the same with the broomstick anchoring thing. Just, you know what? Stop it. You tried to do that anchor band because you didn't like the way the broomstick putter looked, and dudes are still winning with it. Joke's on you, stupid. So you know what? We're throwing that out the window too. And
they're still anchoring it.
Well, they're not anchoring it, but now people are mad. The people that hate the way it looks.
They're
not.
Say what you want. There's cats on the Champions Tour smack straight anchoring that joint. You can't tell me you're touching your shirt and not your chest when you wear a shirt that's too small for you to begin with.
Now, look, if you're wearing a size medium, number one, if you're on PGA Tour Champions, stop it, bro. You ain't built to wear it. Unless you Bernhard Langer, who's an absolute cyborg. And listen, there ain't no one I'm going to trust more when it comes to integrity than Bernhard Langer, okay? You can say whatever you want about him, but I'm going to tell you something. That man is a man of God first. And if his integrity was ever questioned, he would quit the game. Right? Because he doesn't think of like the here and the now and the money and all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not out on PGA Tour Champions a lot, so I don't know how many dudes out there use the broomstick putter, and I'm sure there's a bunch of them too. But that being said, this is what I'm saying. It's why it's a stupid rule that has to be going back. And it's the same with like dialing back the golf ball. Oh, we got to change the rule to dial back the golf ball for the pros. No, we don't. No, all these old courses are being obsolete. No, they're not. We still playing in LA, right? Like we still play Hilton Head, and when those courses are firm and fast, guess what? Them scores have stayed the same, single digits wins. At Riviera, at Hilton Head, and I love courses like that. What I don't like is when course designers, they're the ones that are complaining. Well, you know what? Stop being lazy. Then come up with better course designs, right? If guys can hit it 340 yards, then take the driver out of their hand. Design holes where hitting driver doesn't make sense for them. Oh, well, we don't want to do that because it might hurt the game. Okay, then you're making excuses for those long ball hitters, right? Are you trying to do what's best for the game of golf, or are you trying to do what's best for professional golf? Because those are two different things, right? And you can make plenty of different tee boxes for people of all skill levels to go ahead and still enjoy the same length course. And so that would be one of my other things. And probably most importantly, with where golf is right now, we're going to set up a match between LIV and the PGA Tour. LIV, send your best 8 dudes. PGA Tour, send your best 8 dudes. Right? And we're going to charge $20.
Winner gets professional golf?
Nah, it's going to be $20 pay-per-view. And the people that are going to be down there commentating, like Charles Barkley's going to be on the course. You know why? Because I know he's going to be talking smack. Because he ain't scared. He ain't got nothing to lose. So he ain't scared to get them talking, and he ain't scared to talk to them. That's why I want people around that are not afraid. Because if you're tired of where golf has been professionally and these two leagues apart, and here you go. we're going to put $3 million in a pot, right? $1 million for what's going to come on pay-per-view, and then a PGA Tour's putting in $1 million, Liv's putting in $1 million. $2 million of that $3 million is going to charities. And then the other $1 million can be split up between those guys because you don't need the money. What you need is to come together and have a fun event that people want to watch and be a part of. That's what you need to do. I'm not trying to hear like, well, we so many needs. They got to have more rights than this other person needs. So, okay, then again, it's a lot of this. Are you talking about what's going to be best for the game, or are you actually trying to do what's going to be best for the game? Because what's best for the game is to see these guys go toe-to-toe, and let's take it on the golf course, right? That's like when Tiger and Phil played the match. The first thing I said was, why are they playing for money? Unless the only way it was going to be cool for money is if a camera crew went with Phil and a camera crew went with Tiger to the bank, and they each got $1 million out from their bank account. Let you each get $1 million out, right? And we're putting $2 million in the pot. And that ain't what you just playing for either. The other thing you playing for is the loser has to caddy for the winner at the par 3 contest at Augusta. And you're like, what? And don't tell me your back hurts or I got a bad this or a bad, oh, I can't do. Nope, you only got to carry 4 clubs. It's the par 3 at Augusta. You can carry 4 clubs around and you'll make it around. You know why you want to do something like that? Because these dudes have too much money for money to matter. But guess what? If I'm down 2 or 3 to play, I bet you I will be grinding them last 3 holes because you know what you're not getting? You're not getting that Christmas card with me in that Augusta jumpsuit with your name on the back. I bet you I'll play my ass off for that because I ain't doing that. And you know how mad I'm going to be because I know what's coming if I got to take that picture. Smiling. Hey, man, turn around. Show the back. Show the back. Right? Like, you think that's not what golf needs? You think that's what people want to see? Because I bet you it is. I bet you it is. Now you force the golfers, you put them in a situation hey, put all that talk where your mouth is. You saying all that, you say all the right things. Okay, well, here's a chance to do it. And how many of those golfers are like, let me talk with my team, and I'll have my agent get back to you. I bet your agent won't. I bet he won't, and that's fine. But then don't like blow sunshine and rainbows up my ass and tell me things that you know is not true. If like, I would rather just be honest with me up front, and I'm an adult and can deal with that, right? Like, that's the one thing everybody nowadays, and especially in golf, everyone's afraid to use the term no. Like, I don't want to be the bad guy, so, well, we'll go back and consult and talk about it, and then we'll have a meeting to talk about the next meeting or something. How about we just say, nah, I'm not doing that? Okay, cool. Well, we'll try something else then. That's fine. And everybody can deal with that. And nobody needs a safe space. Did you say no to me? Like, come on, man. It's okay. You're going to live. Sun's coming up tomorrow. Grass is still going to be green. Still going to be a flag and a hole in the ground. We're still going to play some golf. And it's going to be okay. So, if I'm the king of golf, those are the kind of changes that I'm going to start with.
Andy, what do we say about the bad guy here?
I would say good night to the bad guy. I mean, I love it, man. I'm right with you, man. Let him anchor it. You let him do it one time. You can't go back now. You let the ball get here. You can't go back now. I ain't dropping the ball from no knee. I ain't doing it. I'm from the day.
I drop a ball from the knee all the time. I'm only 5'4". I don't give a shit. Whatever. If you're 6'6" and I'm 5'4", aren't we dropping from different locations anyway? Like, that's the dumbest thing ever. That's the dumbest thing ever.
They spent too much time changing the rules that didn't need to be changed. How you gonna call a penalty area, but I ain't got to take a penalty in it? That don't even make no sense. I ain't got to take so out of bounds ain't really out of bounds no more. It's a hazard.
You know how many people get all of these rules wrong too? How are you gonna have a golf course and you put yellow stakes out there and don't have a drop zone?
No drop zone.
There was no. Yeah. I just played an event. There were 4 holes that had yellow marked penalty areas, and I was like, just go to the drop zone. Oh, you ain't got no drop zone. Then pull them yellow stakes up, dumbass. What are you doing? Was there a sale at Lowe's on paint? Like, why did you do that? Or I had one dude, this one guy, And he was so mad, he called the pro shop, and they had to tell him no. My man goes, he hit it out of White Steak, OB, and he goes, I'm gonna just drop up there 2 club lengths. No, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. No, you can drop it in the fairway and take 2 strokes. It's not 2 strokes. It's only 1. No, it's 2 strokes. I'm gonna drop. It's 1 stroke. I'm gonna drop over there too. No, you're not. You go back to the tee and hit again. You hit 3, or you drop and hit 4 right there. No, I ain't doing that. Okay, man. Okay. And the funny thing was, it wasn't even my group. And afterwards, it was me and Matt Barry did a video about it. And this dude had the nerve to be like, the next day at breakfast, hey man, I seen your video. Can I talk to you? You can talk if you want to, but you in the wrong, dummy. Like what you want me to do for you, bro? I can't like a very good comedian friend said, I can't fix stupid.
So let me get into what we ask everybody, our foreplay questions. I'm going to breeze past the first 2 because I know for a fact you're not going to send me your swing. But what do you love about your
swing? What you want to look at my swing for?
Because everyone does it here.
Why?
Because I said so.
It's a horrible... I mean, I'll send you. I'll see if I have video. I'm sure I got video somewhere.
No.
I got video of him putting. I had him on my dub line. I don't know if you remember at Farmers. A few years ago, I had him on the dub line. So we'll critique the putting stroke. How about that?
Yeah, my putting stroke is my stance is extremely wide open. My stance.
So that's what you love about your swing is your putting stroke.
I love my short game. Okay. Most guys are very terrified of getting in bunkers, and I love bunkers. I love it. And so I'm very confident out of bunkers, whether it be a fairway bunker or a greenside bunker. Like I really.
All right, what do you hate about your swing?
In bunkers. I hate that even ever since I was a little kid playing baseball and street hockey and you name it. Like, I still to this day can have a tough time getting to my right side. I golf left-handed, bat left-handed, play hockey left-handed, but I throw righty and anyway. But I've always struggled getting to my right side. Even when I would bat, I would always fall back. So I would lose a lot of power in baseball, and I lose power and control in golf as well. So consciously trying to get to my right side, it is a battle and a fight for me constantly, and I hate it. So
okay, so what golf course did you have the best swing of your life?
That's a good question.
See, everyone thinks about that one.
Well, because I've shot my best round is 71, and I've shot 71 3 times at 3 different places. So, I did it at TPC Sawgrass at the Valley Course. I did it at the Ocean Club, the Ocean Course at in the Bahamas, and then I did it at my home course was Ironwood here in Gainesville. So Ironwood is like just a muni course and stuff. So that one, but like the Ocean Course in the Bahamas, it was blowing 20 miles an hour, and I shot 71 playing with the assistant pro there at the time, Lemon, and so doing it in front of him, and I made birdie on the last hole to do it. And I was talking like Lee Trevino the whole time that I had this putt. And I made like a 25-footer. And I'm talking because he was trying to get in my head about how, I got no chance of making this putt, blah, blah, this and that. And I was like, I don't understand why he's saying this. It's just speed and line. And once you got the line, then it's all about trusting the speed. And I'm saying that as I hit the putt, and it goes up and drops dead center. And so I was really, in those windy conditions on that golf course, shooting 71 was like, I played unconscious. Although at Sawgrass was, because I did it with my best friend, who actually tried to mess me up. Because I birdied 9, 10, 11, and 12, and got to 4 under. And then on the 13th hole, my best friend was like, yo, you can shoot 68. And I had never been 4 under before. So, of course, I shit the bed and then had to birdie the last hole to shoot 1 under and shoot 71. But still, that was like, I hit one of the best drives I've ever hit in my life, you know, there. And the next time I hit a drive that good was this past year. I played in the Wells Fargo Pro-Am. And on 16, on the first hole of the Green Mile, I hit a drive over the right bunker, and I've never hit a ball that good. I felt like left-handed Rory McIlroy. And I kept looking around the bunker, and then the marshal goes, no, Mike, it's way, way down here. I've never seen a ball down here before. And then I was like, I'm not going to lie, bro. My 2 set of Titleists swelled up pretty good. I had a tough time walking down the rest of the way because my set of Titleists was swole up after that. So, yeah.
Hey, Scott, isn't it
I've
amazing
been lucky,
how
man.
it's amazing how people it's so hard for them to get started on what they love and the best swing they ever had.
Yep.
And as soon as they do, they don't stop. Huh? I love it.
Yep.
No, it's what it is because when you ask somebody a question like that, everyone, I'm sure, immediately has like 3 to 4 have moments. They have 3 to 4 moments or rounds where you're like, yeah, so which one of those is it? Which one would be the one? Like if I was going to replay one in my head, so yeah, that would be it. So that's why it takes people a minute to answer. But yeah, once they decide, then it's going to be game on. You ain't going to shut up about it.
And it's always the best part of the show.
Stay connected with The Edge on your favorite platforms. Find us on Instagram and Snap at theedge.show.
All right, so last thing, because I know I want to get you out of here too, and that is, how are you, Michael Collins, changing the game?
That's a great question. And if I don't, I guess if I stripped everything away and just was being bare, minimalist, honest, I think being a part of the game is changed it. So, at the time when I first started and first got to do play-by-play on XM, I was the first caddy to ever do that. Yeah. And so, in a sense, I guess like there's a little bit of OG there in me because now you see a guy like John Wood who is thriving and doing amazing. And he's somebody I love calling a friend. And the same with Jim Mackay, Bones. Like when those two guys, they got to do what they got to do because I think originally the thought was nobody wants to hear from a caddy. Nobody cares what a caddy has to say. And then when I got to do what I got to do, I think I proved that, wait a minute, caddies might see the game in a way that we never even considered thinking about or looking at. And then when you hear that perspective, you're like, holy crap, I'm glad I got to hear that. And it's like now, can you imagine back in the late 80s or something, like putting a microphone to listen to Jack and Angelo talk? Like no one, it would have been unheard of. They would have said no one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear from them. Only the players matter. The caddies don't matter. They're not even human beings, really, right? And now, how many players do you hear say us, we, team, right? Compared to when I started, there was no such thing as that. There was no golfer that was going in front of the camera after his round and being like, me and my caddy so-and-so made great decisions out there. It was only I, me, and like, this is what happened and what I did. Now it's not like that at all. Now the best players in the world only talk about team. They only talk about me and my guy or me and my team. And so it's like that. I'm proud to be a part of that change, especially in the broadcast side of it, where it's like, hey man, there were times where people were like, man, we can't do this. And the other thing that I love, and my mom reminds me of this all the time. And she goes, Hey, Michael, how come nobody was funny in golf before you started, and now everybody's trying to be funny? Right? Like you brought comedy and a lightness to the game where everybody was trying to be real serious in golf and nobody was like being real fun. And then you come in there and you just having light moments with golfers and having fun, and you don't even care how they hit a 7-iron or whatever. Like you just want to talk to them as people and have fun doing it. And now everybody's doing that. And I'm like, because I don't think about stuff like that. But it's cool that my mom noticed something like that. And it meant a lot to me then to look around and go, maybe, I had a tiny part in how the game is perceived now. So, and the biggest compliment I get is when people come up to me and be like, hey man, I don't even like golf, but when you're on SportsCenter, I like hearing you talk about golf. And that means a lot to me because it's like, all right, if I can take one little step of getting your foot in the door into a sport that you don't even like, but now you kind of want to pay attention to it because I can make it entertaining for you, then I'm doing my job.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Michael Collins. Always good to talk, and thanks for giving us the edge, Michael.
Thanks for finally getting me on the damn show, man. It's been, how long did I have to wait for this? No, I'm just playing.
You had to wait 17 episodes. I mean,
I know, man. Hot dog. I just wanted to make sure it was going to last. It was going to be around for a minute. You know what I mean? You don't want to be on. I was on episode 3. Oh, cool. How many episodes they got? 4.
4.
They stopped doing it after the one after me. This is bullcrap, man. That happened to me as a comedian a lot. You'd be like, I would be the opening act at the very first time when the comedy club opened, and then it would go back like a couple years later and be like, man, how's it doing? Oh, this is the last show. We're not doing shows after this. Why'd you bring me in?
It's a rib joint now.
Yeah, it's so ill.
For more of Andy's instruction and insights on the game, sign up for free on the website at theedge.show.
Okay, so we got Andy in the car. What parking lot are you in?
Congressional. We're over here recruiting at the PGA Junior Championship, and it is hot as all get out. The phone's been out like 4 times a day. It keeps overheating.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there hiding in the car, trying to get in some shade, and it's still hot in here with the AC on.
All right, so let's get you in and out of here. But I'm going to give you, for the bars exam, I'm going to give you an NYC group. And the feature on that song is actually a DC artist.
Cool.
So that's why I gave that to you. It is from the 1980s. Andy Walker, this is your bars exam. Relax a bit. Now, ain't that better? I think it's time for you to get a partner and dosey. Gather in closely. I want to see the ones that mostly front on a cutie. Hope you're not fruity. Do your duty. And Andy Walker, what is this song?
I might need a little less bread. Give me a little less bread. I'm going with, for a DC group.
DC group sang the hook. DC group sang the hook. The hook is the song. Here we go. Let me give it to you with a, little more flavor.
There we go.
Relax a bit. Now, ain't that better? I think it's time for you to get a partner and dosey, gathering closely. I want to see the ones that mostly front on a cutie. Hope you're not fruity. Do your duty and
shake your thing.
There you go.
There
it is.
That's right. DC Go-Go. There we go.
DC Go-Go. That is Shake Your Thing, Salt and Pepper. That is from the worst named album in history, A Salt with a Deadly Pepper. It came out on August 3rd, 1988.
I love it.
But I will say this. I listened to that album a lot.
Do you really? You still rock that?
Oh, no. I don't. No. In high school, I listened to that album a lot.
Yeah.
But it was because of that. It is melodic, right? So that's the Isley Brothers. It's your thing. I mean,
Yep.
so you got the Isley Brothers and EU, which I loved. So even the West Coast guys, a little bit of go-go it worked for me.
They just had a go-go show down in Richmond like a week and a half ago. So
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to go. I went and watched Nas perform with the orchestra.
How was that?
It was, you know what? I'm going to be honest. So there was kind of two shows. One, he did 30 Years of Illmatic with the orchestra, and they didn't do it justice, to be honest. It was cool because it was different.
Ooh.
I've seen some live sets with that, and it's been pretty dope before. That one was like okay. It was fun because it was different, but they didn't do it justice. And then when he just got on with him and his DJ and did all of his other joints, that was ill. That was the Nas I want to see. So.
Okay. That's good. We got just a couple of programming notes. So next week we'll do a show. Week after that, no show. We'll have a couple of weeks, and then we're going to go on a little bit of hiatus into the fall. But don't worry, we're going to keep giving you some good stuff here with the Edge. But just savor what you're going to have here over the next couple of weeks. Let's get Andy out of the car because it is hot as balls. Andy Walker, say goodbye to the folks.
Deuces.